What's up, everybody?
Hey, welcome, my crypto comics compatriots. How y'all doing tonight?
You know what
Change
I
your
just
shirt,
realized,
Jared.
boys? I
Change your
gotta
shirt.
do a quick Batman or Superman scene. Just 1 second.
This is
Okay,
what happens
well,
when
we're
Jared
back with
joins
another
like
edition.
2 minutes.
We're back
before
with
we go
another
live.
edition of the Crypto Comics Podcast, where we break down the comic book landscape and let you into our world. Tonight, joining us a little bit later, we have a special guest for you. So
Hopefully.
I can't wait for that. Yeah.
Yeah, guest was running a little bit late tonight, so if we don't have him, we will reschedule it. But as you guys saw on the banner, we're supposed to have Lawrence White, which we're pretty stoked about. If he can't make it, then he can't make it. You know, sometimes these things happen. It's kind of the downside of doing a live show. But that being said, we've got Jared, and he's actually wearing a shirt. You're not supposed to wear the same shirt as somebody else, Jared. Matt, hurry and grab your black shirt real quick and just throw it up on your chest. Here, hold on. I'm going to do it.
All right,
I can't find
so
it. What do I do with it?
before we get started, everybody make sure you chime in with your opinions on all the topics today. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Jared, no. Jared, no. Hit that notification bell so you know when we're going live. This is going to be an interesting one.
This might just turn into a bunch of people getting dressed over and over and over again. Okay, hold on. Let me just see if he notices. All right, we're just going to see if he can tell. Oh, it looks like we got Lawrence coming in. Lawrence, what's up, man?
Hey,
not much, guys.
How you
What's
doing?
going on?
We're just mocking Jared because he wasn't wearing the right shirt. So
It reminds me. I don't know what I got on. I was actually going to cruise around town, but I decided I better come visit you guys.
hey, that works. If you're driving, though, we can wait. We can kill some
I'm
time.
passenger side, so I'm
Okay.
Lawrence, if you're driving, I'm gonna cut your stream right now.
I have my chauffeur.
Oh, he's a backseat driver. I got you.
Okay.
All right. Well,
What's
let's
up?
check in
Lawrence,
with
why don't
chat
you,
real quick here, guys.
Oh, okay.
Rose comes in and says,
Hey.
hello, good morning, Crypto Comics lads. Everybody in the chat. Hi from Rose. I'll just be listening. What's up, Rose? Nobody's losing.
Rose.
Says, hello, how's everyone doing this fine Monday?
Hi, Rose.
Obviously not very well.
We're a little discombobulated right now. Min's laughing. Nobody's losing says, Jared pulling a Superman. Min's laughing. Nobody's losing says, Jared, no, he's not a dog, Matt.
I know,
Man,
seriously. They just stole my shirts, guys. I had it all planned out. I had a wardrobe. I was ready to execute. And then they stole my stuff.
Yeah, because
Min
we don't
says,
believe a word you're saying.
Min says, I'll bet his bedroom floor looks like a teenage girl's. But Min, like, clearly, me and Matt are no better. Looks like a teenager got adult money in our houses. Nobody's looking. It says, hello, Lawrence.
What's going on?
Dominic, howdy. Crutchy comes in. Hey, Crutchy changed his name on YouTube. Says, howdy, fellas.
Hey.
Min says, hi, Lawrence. Jay Smith says, I think it. Looks like he might have went to finish that statement. Maybe hit enter a little too early. He says,
hi, everybody.
Yeah.
I
He thinks it. That's about it.
For wrong for Min to assume Jared has panties on his floor.
You can't say that live. You got to say something like,
We can totally say it. So I want to make sure I let this one be known. This stream is not necessarily a not safe for work stream, but it could get that way. I just want to make sure that everybody's aware. Some of the artwork and stuff that's inside of Lawrence's books could be considered age appropriate, more towards the upper side there. So if we do slip, or something like that, please bear with us. But we'll do our best to be family friendly. If your family is the Mansons.
it's all semantics. So how you been, Lawrence?
I've been doing good. How you guys been?
Awesome. We get to
All
hang
is
out
good.
with you.
Oh well, you must have a boring night going on if you guys want to talk to me.
I mean,
Hey.
I'm gonna be honest with you. There's no way you're as boring as Jared.
All right, I'm gonna go get
Look at that.
situated in the house here.
What? I am not boring, y'all. Were you
man.
not wearing your seatbelt, Lawrence?
I put it on. That's why you didn't hear any dinging. I just got
Good
you heard
man.
a ding because I just got out of the car.
See, did you? You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He had his
did have
seatbelt
my
on.
I
He
did
was
have my
ready for
seatbelt
my
on,
ride.
yes. Here, I'm gonna switch you guys over to my laptop so you're not getting
Sounds
my
good.
directors off my phone here.
No problem. While you're doing
Okay.
that, we're gonna explain to people where they can find your books real quick.
That would in tune here in a minute. One sec.
Awesome.
Okay,
So while
I will
Lawrence
put
is
the link
switching up
in the
his
chat.
devices. Yeah, so
So,
you can find
everybody-
Lawrence. Okay, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
I think there might be some kind of delay. All right, so go to cryptocomics.com/u/
Just a few delays, right?
White Eye Productions.
Yeah.
All right. So come down here, follow them, or sign up for an account.
Yes,
Drink
sir.
them if you
And
got them.
okay, this is gonna be an alcohol infused stream. It's coming. I can feel it already.
Hey, it's kombucha. Whoops.
I'm not talking about for you.
Ginger?
I'm talking about for myself.
Ginger lemonade. How you like them flavors?
It's kombucha, so not at all.
So one of the things you guys are gonna be able to find on Lawrence's profile is he's got 4 books up inside of the system right now.
They are rad.
All 4 are pretty rad. Yeah. So make sure you guys go and check those out. That's 4 new books to leave reviews on. Hint, hint, wink, wink, badge collectors. There's something new in our system you guys may want to check out. So you may want to
Okay.
go and look at those books, and you may want to leave reviews from now on for all the streams that we do.
Really?
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hint,
What
hint.
happens if I leave a review, Fry? What are you saying?
I said for badge collectors, so.
Are you
looks
saying
like
that I need
Lawrence,
to read the whole book and then leave a review and then something special will happen? Or are you saying that I'll find the something special while I read the book? I mean, could I just write a review and not read the book just to try and get the special? What's going on, man? Talk to me, bro.
you're going to have to try to break the system. That way we can find out if it's broken. That's
I
why
am
we're in
going to
beta.
break the system. System of a doom.
Okay. Lawrence, I'm not sure if you can hear us, but if you can, give us a thumbs up when you're ready for us to throw you back onto the stream.
I'm getting.
We're good to go.
Sorry,
Awesome.
I gotta get on a Chrome in order for StreamYard to work. So bear with me here.
He was throwing
No
up
worries.
his thumb just to show that he could, not that he was ready, Fry.
Hey, the directions were simple. I feel like Mr. White understood.
Whoa! Dude, that was awesome. Oh, well, it was awesome for a minute. I felt like I was in Star Wars when he was flying through the Death Star. It was
Ming comes in and
fantastic.
says, well, you do keep taking off your clothes. That's always a good start.
Thank you, man.
Okay.
First of all, hold on now. Changing clothes, not taking them off. That's not this kind of show, people. I know you want to see something, but you're not gonna.
Not tonight. Okay, so don't, Jared.
Ooh.
Oh, dude,
What?
I thought for sure he was walking off camera and coming back on with nothing. I thought it was happening.
You want?
All right, Dominic.
Please
Dominic
don't.
had a question. It says, are the books part of a series? Dominic, I'm going to hold that question until Lawrence is back on, and we will make sure to talk to him about that, okay? And anybody else, if you guys have questions inside of chat, you guys are going to learn real quick. Lawrence is kind of a master of all trades type of thing when it comes to comics. So I'm sure everybody will have a lot of great questions. Make sure you guys throw those in the chat. We'll do our best to get through everything in chat. We'll do our best to get to all these comments and questions. As always, it's probably going to get off the rails real quick tonight.
As
because we're
always,
gonna
smack
have
the
fun.
like button, hit the subscribe bell, share because you care. That's what's as always, Fry. Hey, yes,
Yes,
Matt
sir.
is still using his green screen. Everything behind him's fake.
You have to read the question so that if someone is only listening, they know what you're answering.
What?
Oh boy, this is gonna be an interesting night, guys. All right,
Don't worry, Fry. I
uh,
follow instructions great.
I got to ride my motorcycle today, so I'm in a pretty
Yes!
decent mood.
Dude, I
good.
actually talked to the sun to come out so that you could. You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
No problems. That's what I do for my
Nobody's
friends.
Losing says we can't review the books because we can only borrow them. Aha.
Ooh.
That test operated perfectly. And Nobody's Illusion, there's no way you could have read any of those comics in this amount of time, which means you're trying to cheat the system.
Oh, that was awesome. Illusion, we
I love
you.
it when
Thank
my
you
development works.
for taking the test and showing us. Awesome. So that's one question down, guys.
Here's one thing you could do though, nobody. You could place your thoughts on the book inside of the chat beneath the book.
Okay, let me try.
Like Matt just did when he wasn't supposed to.
Oh, I did that a while ago.
Great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Matt, if you could start listening to the meetings when we have those in the morning, I would appreciate
that.
Wait, does that require work?
Okay, so I apologize, guys. What we had set up is we've set up some new demons on the site, and what they'll do is they'll actually watch for specific events, which means certain interactions inside of the site. One of which that we were going to show off on the stream tonight is when you are the first to leave a comment on a book, it will award you a badge. What does that badge look like, Matt?
What does the badge look like, Matt?
Oh, no. There's still one on there that Matt hasn't broke.
Do not do that one, Matt. Don't touch. I know you're tempted, but I want to see the badge that you did get.
So
I don't know what you're talking about.
Here's what I want to know. I want to know if anybody can guess what the character is that is in the badge when you do see it. So when somebody gets that badge, when you guys see it, I hope that you guys will recognize a familiar face inside of it. But
of course, we're going to recognize my face inside of it.
I will show you guys this.
Okay, I'm back.
Dude,
here's all my badges. Well, the first set.
I don't see any special one, Fry.
You'll see. People will start getting it awarded. Hopefully, that's during the stream.
Okay. Wait. So,
I'm back.
Didn't get one?
Hey,
what's up, Lawrence?
Oh, I got my laptop. Sorry, I had to reset my password and all that fun stuff because I couldn't remember my password.
Don't be sorry, dude. You're awesome. They're just confusing me. Matt's breaking rules. Fry's making cool stuff. I can't play. It's not fair.
So you guys were asking me something before I went off. What was it? Oh, my series were ongoing.
There's a super cool question that came up in your transition. If you don't mind starting there,
that's fine. Yeah.
So Dominic Colby came in and asked, "Are the books part of a series?"
Yes, every one of them are. Actually, Saya was actually done with a friend of mine, J.D. Allen, who's actually a film director, and Saya was shot as a 30-minute short movie. It's on Amazon Prime. So if you go to Amazon Prime, look up Saya. It's there. I don't know if it's to purchase, but it's only like $3 if you want to check it out. So we actually did the comic based on that, and we want to keep going as an ongoing series. But we're going to use the comic to show investors so we can start bringing in so we can do a full-length feature film. So I'm kind of the king of the indie comics and the indie films. So Saya is set up that way. Classified will be an ongoing. Time Agents definitely is. Time Agents is going to be the reason I came up with that. That's a prime example of just bringing in. I want to have multiple artists and writers do different stories based on the concept. So it's more or less me mining new talent to do those books. So it won't necessarily be the same writer and same artist each time, but we can still have our characters. Think of remember the old Star Trek with the away teams? You say, oh, this is and then they had the Avengers. Right, this might be before you guys' time, but you had each of the characters. They had the roll call of all the heroes, or they'd have what their specialty is, and then you kick into a story. Well, time agents, it's basically it's the end of time. Humanity's gone to hell, so they send back each time they send back different time agents to fix whatever the problem is, what their objective is. So that was just my idea of getting different writers, different artists. You can do stuff in the Old West, medieval times, the far future still, and you can just do all these different, and you have different time agents. So each one has a different specialty, kind of their own little niche. Maybe one's a military expert, one's a scientist, and they have to go back in time and set something straight. And then every 6 months, I'll show how humanity is, at the end of time has changed. So, we got the thing called the pool, which is like the genetic pool. So all these people are radiated mutants, and then they're saved by this guy called the Clock Watcher, Father Time. I kind of name them both. But then he'll take these humanity, these people that he saved from certain death, and then they become his agents, and they go back in time and have to, have an objective and, do something, do a mission that's going to save humanity. So that's the whole basis of time agents. But I have different writers, different artists, and just guys I've gathered over the years. So we got quite a few different books in the works on that one. Armor Champion is one that came up with Aaron Johnston. But there's another writer named Aaron Johnson. So he goes by A.M. Johnson now. And his brother's an artist. So we work over years and years to come up with time agents. So we're finally getting that, trying to get going on a monthly basis. But we've been writing on that forever. So we've had like 3 or 4 starts on it. And we finally got it hammered down to the team that we want, and the artists and my writers and colorists, and letters and colors. So it's going to be an ongoing eventually. But classified definitely is. We want to keep Saya going. So even if there's a film made, we got plenty of issues out. So we're going to do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and keep that going. And in fact, with JD, I got another one coming up called Afro Black, which is as crazy as it sounds. So just think of the 70s, blaxploitation movies. And I got, I might even have a picture on my laptop.
So
here.
is this all through Wide Eye Productions?
Yes. Now the ones I'm
Nice.
doing with JD is through. So it'll be Wide Eye, but then he's creator on. Think of Image. You got Image, but then you have Top Cow, and then you got Todd McFarlane, and all over. You used to have Wildstorm before Jim Lee sold it, but they're all going to be. If I do with other studios, other people own their creations, but they'll still be under the Wide Eye logo. I try to bounce around and be other companies and with other people, and it always comes back to just me doing my own thing with creators. So that's what I'm going to do. I might do another imprint. I might do another imprint with these guys in Canada. They're pretty well connected, but it's always, it's kind of a pipe dream. So I just want to keep things simple and keep it with Wide Eye. So even if I bring on like JD, it's Inglewood Films. So we put we have both of the logos on there, but it's more like an Image thing. So I'm still going to do all my content under Wide Eye, but at the same time, if I have other people that come in, they have my niche is I get people coming with me with film projects, but nobody's going to sit down and read a 120-page script and decide if they're going to, invest in it. But if you do it as a comic, even if we do it as a 10-pager, just to give them a taste of what it's going to look like, that's our niche. That's how. So I do a lot of stuff with filmmakers and stuff like that. Plus doing the podcast.
Let me take a step back here, Lawrence. You had talked about your team, and you said that you felt like you finally got your team together, like who you like to work with and stuff. Are you working with the same team for all of these different stories, or were you talking just specifically for one book over another, or how are you doing that?
Well, I have my core team. Like I have certain letters that I use, certain colorists. But then again, I always have new artists show up. So a lot of times, like I work with this Marcelo Saleza, who's done a lot of books with me. We've even done kids books. He can draw superheroes, but then he can do a kids book too. So, but he has a lot of talent in South America. So he brings me a lot of talent. So a lot of those guys we've used over, but I'm always working with Marcelo somehow, some way. He's fast. He gets my scripts. I usually do the layouts for pages because there's kind of a language, but he speaks Portuguese. So there's kind of a little bit of over the years, I've kind of gotten, by it. And you guys have met Mike Barron. He's actually worked with Mike Barron. I've worked with Mike, bringing some of my talent. There's another one, Elias Martin. They did a lot of Florida from Mike. Yeah, Mike's just a crazy.
Well, and just for those that didn't know, we know Mike Barron through you, Lawrence.
Yeah. Well, Mike's cool. He's gotten some heat. There's a lot of, I don't know.
That's what makes him cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get too much. I don't want to get too much into it, but I think there's just the comics gate and political BS in comics has gotten just way too out of hand, and in life in general. So,
there's been any man that sends me a jacket
here.
with a slab is
comics, bro. It's all about the comics here, and if you got some Politico, you can take it to the show over there.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You know what? I'm gonna try and get some more daylight in my picture here. I got one light on it. We
like that shadow, that half. It gives you that ambiance, that multi-dimensional personality. Who are we talking to? Wide Eye or the other guy?
So, but I mean, I got a good relationship with Mike Barron, and there's some people that didn't want to work with me because I was working with him, which is a bunch of BS. But yeah, because I mean,
of the 4 books in the system, which is your most like the one that you're most proud of, the one that you want to work on the most, you want to go the farthest? Was it Saya? Did I say that right?
No, because that's somebody else's creation. I love JD and stuff, and I see potential there, but it's not my main book. Well, Armored Champion means a lot to me because that's the first book I created after my dad passed away. So I didn't write or draw for like 6 or 8 months, and that just came out of my head one night, and I couldn't stop until I did the first 10 pages of it. So not the 10 pages you see in the comic, but there was a rough draft that was done. I'll have to send it one day. I'll put it out just to show the beginnings of it. But yeah, that's probably that's one most near and dear to my heart. But I have another one called Peacekeeper, which is actually going to be an anthology book that we're doing. So all the stories that I've done for over 20 years are getting collected into an anthology. In fact, Time Agents and Armored Champion was actually going to be a part of it, and so was Classified. But I didn't think an anthology. I mean, it's good to get all the other stories out that's been racing through my head for years and years, and so I thought they were strong enough to be on their own. So Classified, Time Agents, Armored Champion, they're going to be their own separate deals. But I do have plenty of other stories that we have either completed in the process of, and we're going to go ahead and take those and we're going to put them under a banner. It's going to be called Point Blank Magazine. So there's going to be like 8 stories each issue. And then I also have there's either 2 or 3 other stories that are created by other creators that came on board with me too. So I'm not creating all of them, but I'm creating the bulk of them. But because it's my book and I got to get my stuff out. But
do you mind if we show off a little of this book while you're chatting about them?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find some stuff here.
Well, we got them in the reader.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You can. Yeah. I mean, you can pull up what's already there. I was going to try and give you a taste of.
Feel free to pull up anything else that you want to. Trust me, we take all eye candy seriously.
Okay, hey, what am I doing?
Yeah, just look at me, Lawrence.
Oh yeah, there's Saya. Okay, there's Saya right there. So that's Marcelo. That's Marcelo. JD did the story, him and Melanie, and she's actually the actress that plays the main character in the show. So I don't know why this page came out so dark, but that's her in the mask there that I used for and there's Inglewood Films, and there's Marcio's my colorist, and actually Marcelo did he did all the artwork. Well, I did rough layouts for him, but they're like one step up from pencil stick figures. And then he does the inks, and he's worked with Mark Millar from Mark Millar. I call him Miller. Mark Miller, who created Kick-Ass and was it The Kingsman? Marcelo's worked for him on Nemesis, if you guys are aware of that comic book. So
okay.
But he started me and he's staying with me, so I don't care. and then actually Marcelo did lettering as well. So here's the funny thing too, because his that's not even his main language. So sometimes we have to kind of bounce about to get the grammar correctly. But I usually edit these too, so I make sure they're. So basically, this is think of the X-Men. These kids all have powers, but they're being run by a corrupt organization, and if they don't cut the grade, it's kind of like La Femme Nikita. You show your greatness, and if not, you're gone, kind of thing. So they're kind of showing the kids here, and it's kind of like getting to be a dystopian world. It's in the near future, but not too far away. And then, so she's trained as this assassin, but she like bucks the system and doesn't want to work for the government anymore. So she's pretty much a renegade on her own. And
My
but she gets
favorite
drawn
kind of
back into the
assassin.
world. So this starts out. This is years later. She's on her own, and she sees this little kid shoplifting. And then the guy's running after, like, "Hey, get back here!" And then she teleports. Think of Nightcrawler. If Nightcrawler was a female badass assassin. So then she's running along, and actually, if you go on Amazon and get Saya, you can actually watch this. This is our adaptation of that 30 minutes. So it's 30 minutes, so it's perfect for a comic book. So we can put it all in there. So
nice.
Yeah,
this looks fantastic.
Thank you.
This
So yeah,
looks
I
great.
love it.
Let me check in with chat again real quick here, guys, so we can make sure we're staying caught up.
Yeah, somebody wanted to pay me money, dude.
Yeah, Min says, "What if we offered you money for Jared?"
Lawrence, they're offering me money, bro.
Please don't do this, Lawrence. I just want to take this opportunity to apologize to you right now.
I'll share
Dominic
with him.
Dominic says, "Matt, the futon on the back that you have, how does it compare to a comic shop couch?"
It's
very
comfortable. No,
That's
that
a lie.
futon is very comfortable.
Really?
I sat on it.
Like
That's where the wife puts you when she's mad at you. That's the doghouse, right?
Oh,
that's why I got
some
a comfortable one.
Jay Smith says it's going to be a race. Illusion wanting the badges. Andrew Crutchy to be the first.
You guys can have
That's
the
gonna be
first
idea.
friend as well.
Ooh, he does have the physicals. Where can we get those?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Actually, that one is one of a kind because there was only 50 that was printed. That was JD printed that, and then he didn't do any more. But I have them in print. Hang on a second. I got some more. Hang on a second.
Did you hear that, Fry? Limited edition in your backyard.
And then I do have these. Here's classified in print. This is a 2 here.
Oh,
So I have these up on Kablam at Indie Planet. So if you want to buy hard copies, you can go there. But here's the
wait. But I heard there's one that might be local to me.
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence is local to you.
Yeah. How local? How local are you?
I am in Blackfoot, Idaho right now.
All right, I'm gonna hop off the stream, jump on my bike real quick. Lawrence, just hang on to those comments for me, okay? Just fire me an address real quick.
Fry.
Actually,
Don't
these are
even.
so I got to get those
We
out.
can't have those kind of technical difficulties with Lawrence on the show with us right now.
I can stream from the bike.
What?
I can stream from my bike.
No. We'll set something up later. Little nice get together or something, but not right now.
Be on the bike going to Lawrence's house right now.
We got classified in Indie Planet. Here's the thing: Comixology is so messed up right now. They won't take any new submissions, and they're trying to do this Kindle Reader or whatever. It's a mess. So I've gone digital with all my comics. Actually, Drive Through Comics. If you just do White Eye Productions, you get all 4 of those books on there, and they're $5 each. You can download them. I'm going through Indie Planet on the rest, so you can do print on demand. But right now, unless I spend a ton of money for print, it's so asinine right now for a comic creator to get up and going. So we're gonna write out this crypto and see what's up. So, but we can't get physical copies made, and I'm gonna do another Kickstarter I did one with Classified, and I actually hit half my goal before. I had somebody come in that really wanted to invest and didn't, kind of backed out on me last minute. So I didn't hit my first goal, but this time I got video, I got everything. I'm going to go big time on it. Do you guys ever meet Trip? You ever talk to Trip Mitchell? I think Jared did.
I might have
I
talked to
haven't,
him
no.
once with you.
But when you were giving me the crypto spiel with my team, and we had y'all on
Mhm.
there, Trip's
Yep.
a
I actually
sportscaster
did.
for 35 years, and I'm gonna have
Oh,
him.
yes.
Yeah,
He was
so
on
I'm
the
gonna have
call
him.
with us.
I'm gonna have him do my video for Classified. So I'm gonna have him do the voiceover work. So it'll be. 'Cause he's the one I do my podcast with as well. So our show's con artists. So we go interview all the people that have to do with Comic Cons, and we do some charity stuff too. We did Michael Lasky, who was actually the original Red Power Ranger, which I thought was good. I didn't know how that one was going to go, and that turned out to be our best interview. He was amazing. He was fun. And we did Doug Wagner as well, who writes Plastic, who works for Image Comics. He
Oh, wow.
and in fact, yeah, and he just came out with another. Oh, you know what? Even got the first issue vinyl. So I'm plugging somebody else, but through Image. This is vinyl. It's
Oh,
kind of made up
wow.
this mass murderer shared universe thing, and it's really twisted. But the artist is great, and so is the color. The colors is probably one of the best colors I've seen in comics in a long time. But his Plastic, which is I don't know if you can say it on your show. If you're not familiar with it, it's a retired serial killer who's in love with a blow up doll, and somebody steals his blow up doll. So then he goes on a warpath to get his girlfriend back. So that
Whoa.
and the guy
Right,
on the
one
front,
would.
yeah, and the guy on the front cover is actually
He needs to broaden his horizons. Have you seen the new dolls out? I mean,
Okay, before we get further down this, let me cut you guys the hell off right now and get over to chat.
boy.
So Vav comes in with a question. Looks like it's from Crypt Comics. Is there a way to pull up projects board where those of us may not be the best at artwork, but could write, post storylines, or find artists who are interested in doing collaboration projects, potentially doing so? We are looking at potentially having a feature like this in the future, but this will not be a phase one feature of the system. You can, use the social features in the system right now to help you find other people if they're interested in your books that you've got published or anything like that. What we're looking at doing is maybe something a little kind of similar to like a Trello board type of thing inside of our system. But like I said, that's not a phase one type thing. Right now, our main focus is going on to live transactions. So, but that is something that we've
100%.
actually looked at doing in the future. Yep, as well as more of an interactive comic builder system. Nobody's Illusion says, "Dang it, Crutchy beat me to it." Yeah. All right.
Crutchy was fast. He's very fast.
How's it feel, Illusion? When make fun of Fry every time
No,
Crutchy beats
man,
him.
I wanted to let you. They wouldn't let me. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
man, I know
Okay.
her.
Rose comes in on YouTube and says, "Yeah, it'd be great, Fry, if you don't have visual impairment." She was talking about the if we read the questions, Jared, so that people can
I'm
hear.
sorry, Rose. That's why Fry is here, is to help me do it right.
Crutchy asks, "How long does it take for the system to award the badge after you add your thoughts on a book?" Right now, it's going to take it a little while because this element of the system is still new, and the way that these features work is they actually get faster with time because they learn to analyze, which elements of the system to look at. Plus, it takes a lot of time to scan our whole database and look for anything that's new right now. So it may take a little while, but as we get closer and closer to live, it should happen nearly instantly. Good. Dominic,
Instantaneous?
ooh, nearly. We're blockchains. Nothing is instantaneous on blockchain. Dominic
You're right.
Kobe says,
You're right.
just how adult will classified get? I think that's asking.
It's definitely TNA, and there's some. Just think of an R-rated movie. It's nothing. There's nothing pornographic and stuff.
So
it's
it's
a little more
TNA,
hard.
not TAP.
Say that again.
It's TNA.
No, please don't let him say that again. Nobody's Illusion says, "Wow, that sounds awesome." Break a leg, Lawrence. Jared, you got to stop, dude. You're getting dangerously close.
Classified is more like it's kind of think about if it's like the X-Files meets La Femme Nikita. It's kind of this character kind of gets caught up in if you look at the cover, there's a big surprise at the end. I don't want to give too much away, but there's something giving people powers, but it's very government controlled. And I don't know, maybe it's totally different than Saya, but I have a theme, like anything against authority and shadow governments and stuff like that. I kind of dig. So, but that's in fact, I had a lady that was kind of a B-list celebrity, and I was developing that with her, and she never came through and kind of left it hanging. So it kind of went on the back burner, and then I went back to it and I said, you know what? The story has now become something pretty cool. I want to finish it. So actually, I said it in Island Park at the beginning, and there's something going on in Island Park in the wilderness that kind of sets everything up. And then we go to another part of the story. It's some supermodel in LA, and it doesn't sound as cheesy as it sounds. Some things happen, and then you realize there's a bigger story than just what's going on with these two situations. So if you have it up there, you can pop through and show some pages, and I kind of explain to it. But we did that quite a long time ago. But it's still a story that I loved, and actually we got the first 3 issues almost done. I just got to get colors done. So Classified, I probably get started, and then I got 2 and 3 coming up.
Classified is the girl that has the Nightcrawler powers.
No, that's Saya. This is
I got to yeah.
Just girlfriend, Nightcrawler.
Well,
yeah, that's what Jared says. My greatest fear is having a jealous girlfriend.
Classified is my story. There's some similarities with Saya, but not much. I mean, it's they both kind of have government backstories to them, but other than that, they're two totally complete different stories. I'm gonna go real dark and gritty with mine, but I mean, JD, if we keep that going, it's gonna be its own thing too. But I don't want you to think they're both the same story, because they're not. They're gonna be crazy. I mean, there are some similarities, but that's the broad surface. That's about the only similarities, and then they're both gonna go ape shit in other directions. Is it okay to swear?
So I gotta say, I love Classified.
Oh yeah, you can swear if you want to. We don't stop anybody from swearing. We won't swear because then the algorithms don't let as many people see the show.
Oh, okay, all right.
If you swear though, it'll cut it off too. I don't know how that works.
See, that's it. Well, let's go to crypto and get going. See, Jared, this is what I'm talking about. This question: why comicsology?
Exactly, bro. Exactly, Mundo. Oh, well, Digi comes in saying, "Why comicsology when you can crypto your comics?" Well, you were using comicsology before, right? And then they did that switcheroo to Amazonian.
Yeah, and then they said they're not taking any more submissions. I'm like, well, okay, I'm done with you. So now I'm just looking at ways to get my books out. So,
hey, take his money. Hey, that's easy for you to say. You're Mr. White. You have a cool sounding name.
Well, my name's
Digi always says something cool to say.
If you remember Reservoir Dogs, because when he wasn't supposed to tell him his real name, so when he's bleeding, he's like, Larry White. I'm Lawrence White, so I am Mr. White.
Oh shit!
Nice.
I didn't even think of that.
I do have a cool sounding name.
You come from one of the coolest movies of all time.
He's holding his hand. He's screaming. He's like, Larry.
Yeah.
And he's Mr. White. That's what I was telling
you. I didn't think that Larry was short for Lawrence.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm Mr. White. I am truly Mr. White.
Dude, that was a great heist. That was a great heist, bro.
That's one of my favorite movies ever.
All right. We cut off Matt. So, Matt, what did you want to say? Go ahead.
I don't even remember, but I do have another question. So how did you get into comics exactly?
All right, here's the long condensed story. I was see, I knew her. It started with I was a kid in first grade, and I drew a mountain man climbing a mountain, and they called in my parents to school, and I thought I was in trouble. And they showed them my artwork. They're like, "Yeah, your son drew this." So I was showing. I could draw ever since I was a kid. I had the talent. So and I just ended up, I kept doodling and stuff, and then I found comic books, and after that, it was all downhill from there. I mean, I'm like a comic book historian. Like I said, I do podcasts just based on comic books. And I'm like a historian. I could pretty much tell you if there's anything in Walmart with a superhero drawn on it, I could probably tell you who drew it. That's how bad I get into this stuff. But and I think I lost count at 40,000 comics in my collection. That was like 10 years ago or 15 years ago. So, yeah. So I mean, this is my passion. So but yeah, and then I was, I was drawn along and I was submitting stuff, and then I hooked up with these guys in Pocatello, and none of us were getting work except for one of us. Actually, one of us, Jason Brubaker. I'll give a shout out to Jason, and he went on to storyboard like the first Blade movie, Deuce Bigelow. He was the big one out of all of us, and he just had a natural talent. And he worked on Kung Fu Panda, a lot of conceptual designs for that.
I love Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah. Oh, Jason, look up Jason Brubaker. He's got some indie comics, and I'd love to have him get on the crypto deal with it. So, Jason Brubaker, and I think it's coffee.
Brubaker.
Jason Brubaker, yeah. And look up artist and thank me later, because he's one of the most amazing artists you'll ever see. Yeah. And so Jason, we all started working together, and I had Trevor Nilsson, Bob Beeson on the shop in Pocatello, and we all got together and just started doing comics, and we started doing our own. And we all still draw and illustrate. We all do our passions, but when it came to like putting comic book, actually Trevor, one of our guys, he actually went and did. I don't know if you know who Bat and Lash is. He's an indie guy that was pretty big in the 80s and 90s. He's passed away now, but Trevor used to he had a book called Supernatural Law, which is like all these attorneys that had to represent like aliens and monsters and all this stuff. And it was a real indie book. But Bat and Lash had a pretty good following, and he always did San Diego Comic-Con. Trevor actually ended up inking his backgrounds for him. So that was kind of his big break. So we all still draw and do comics, but I'm the only one that's like really trying to like get them out. Well, besides Jason. Jason pretty much, he does his books, which are amazing. He just goes through Indiegogo from what I understand, and he's a self-made guy. So, but I'm the one that is kind of. Okay, Lawrence, what comic book or graphic novel inspired you to start doing comics? But right there, so I was a big John Byrne fan. Early X-Men. His Fantastic Four, Alpha Flight 1 through 28 is probably my favorite run of comic books ever. There was always a cliffhanger. Characters got killed. I mean, I was going through therapy at 9 years old because I couldn't grasp what he was doing to my heroes. But I loved it. Yeah. But then but even at 12, I was into indie comics. I was into American Flag with Howard Chaykin and John Sable with Mike Grell. And those two guys are still huge influences on me. I've met them both, and it's been cool. A lot of the independent in the 80s, once the independents hit, then I saw past the superhero stuff, and I got really into like Kamiko and the Pacific Comics and all the indies that aren't around today at all, but those were magic. Let's see, I'm trying to think of some of the other big ones that came out about that time. Some are still around today, but like I said, that's Mike Barron, his Nexus, Badger. I was hooked on all that stuff, and now I work with the guy. Now he's my friend. He's actually stays in my house. He knows my kids. It's cool. So.
Okay, so wait a minute. The first book that we saw was the one that you did with JD, right?
Yeah, JD Allen. Yeah, he shot that as a film. So I adapted that over into a comic book. So
okay, so that was a film, and then you adapted it over into a comic book. Now we're going to show another book, and tell us about this book.
Okay, I don't know which one you're going to use, so surprise me.
I got you.
What book?
Okay, that's my classified. Okay, yeah.
So which book are you wanting, Jared?
Now, once again,
we're going to just go in a row because I want him to tell us about each book.
Jared, hold on.
I'm sorry.
Once
did you have another
again,
plan?
I need to tell everybody once again that this stream can slide over to the Not Safe for Work. This book, while it's not an adult book, would definitely be close.
Adult-y.
We're getting into that gray area.
Have
so we
mature
want to make sure that
content
we're
in there.
It's kind of adult.
Make sure we let everybody know,
but not in the preview.
So it's got.
No, I think you're okay in preview. There might be.
Yeah,
there might be a few 4-letter words, but there's only one skin in the first issue. So.
Okay.
So, all right. So this is Island Park,
and there's a gritty art style.
Oh yeah, actually, that's Federico Zumel did the pencils, and you got to see the pencils. His pencils are that detailed. I mean, I almost wish I didn't have an inker do this, but my inker's great too. So, in fact, there's a little clash of philosophies between my pencil and my inker, and in ways,
really?
the pencils are that detailed. So, long story short, these guys are, before you get too far here, this old man takes these two on a hunting expedition at Island Park, but they think there's a bear on the loose that's killing a bunch of livestock and everything, and they're afraid.
It's aliens, we know.
I'm paraphrasing it, but they're afraid that it's going to go after a human soon. So he's trying to tell these guys that maybe they can help him, and then so then they go to and then. Let's see, Stan. And there's one gritty part coming up. So they're talking along, and he says, you're afraid this bear is going to start losing his fear. And then this guy's like, let me ask you something. He goes, why are you guys packing so much artillery for a bear? And the other guy comes up behind him, and he's trying to ask him, he's like, what's his deal? He's talking about the other guy, and he's standing behind him with a gun. He goes, that gets complicated. He goes, how so? And then the next page is they kill their yeah. So they killed
once again, as I said, guys, some of the depictions inside of this book, but don't say we didn't warn you. And I'll be honest with you, this book is fantastic from everything I was able to read earlier. So well worth it.
Oh yeah, thank you, appreciate that. And here's the beauty of it is, so they kill him, but these two guys are actually agents. They're like a black ops organization. They know what they're hunting down. They're like saying, well. They said, he goes, drag it up to the clearing. They said, we spotted the animal out in the distance, and so they're going to take his body.
There it is.
And then they're going to take
the animal.
Yeah, this is so this is our main character. This is our main character, and she's like a supermodel. I just try to do this, just kind of superficial bimbo type, person with no, think of a Kardashian or something. Somebody you wouldn't really even want to care about. And then here's how. No,
she's the heroine. Is that how you say it? Did I say that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So she's
all right. I like it. Kind of leading in with a floozy, but she turns out to be awesomey.
Well, no, the thing is, she's basically thrown into a whole other world that she has to adapt to. So it's kind of that, I'm not against women empowerment, and I think it's a good thing. And if I have a story where young women or something can relate to, that's cool. But this story is a little more gritty. But there's still women that like comics too. So they can give a hero they can root for. But she's going to go through a big transition. She's not going to be the superficial. She's thrown into where she has to rely on her wits, and so everything's alien to her as much as the reader. So she's going to be the one that has to grapple it and go through it, and she's gonna become a badass.
So I have a question about this. It kind of reminds me of like a grittier version of that old TV show Heroes, where you have the agents and stuff like that, going after all these people with emerging powers and whatnot. Does it actually have any connection to any of the other books that you have in the system?
I sat here one day and I tried to do like an all ages too. Matt Wagner's Grendel. I love Grendel. Actually we used Island Park for the scenery, so that's cool.
Looks like what is it, Bill's Island? Is that the name of that area?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's Island Park. Yeah, I'm not. Here's the one thing with comics right now: crossovers kill comics. That's just my. If you got a great team on there, and you got to go through every year with the X-Men, you got to read 700 different books to get one story, and it's just that. I think that's what burned me out on comics. That's why I don't read the X-Men anymore, and it's just there's too much to buy, and the story's never worth it, and they're just foil covers and all that. I'm probably I'll never say never, but I don't think I'll ever do a variant cover on anything. Just because it's such a stupid idea. I'm a purist, and no crossovers, no nothing. You just do separate stories.
Okay.
Now,
all right. Hold on, Lawrence. Hold on. So if Chad Harden hits you up and says that he wants to do a variant cover for Classified, you're going to turn him down?
All right. I probably wouldn't do that, but I'd have. You know what? No. You know what I would do? I would have him do the next recent. I'd have him do the cover for the next story. No.
Yeah, but what if he was like, no. I want to do a variant for this cover. It's going to be the most awesome variant you'll ever see in your life. It's going to be fantastic. I'm going to put all my effort into it, and you're going to get a Chad Harden original variant cover, but it has to be for this issue. Absolutely only this one.
Then I'm gonna have to fire my original artist and have him do it. Then I guess.
Well,
you know what? Joe? Well, you guys know Jonathan Hallett.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
good friends.
yeah.
He's good friends with Chad, and I think I've
Mhm.
talked to Chad once, like at Gaming Con, and I don't, we didn't really talk about what we do and stuff. I think it just complimented his artwork or something. But I'm pretty connected with all these guys, but with a friend of a friend and stuff like that. But I mean,
Well,
it'd be great.
well,
But you know what I would do? I would have them do their own story. I'd just be like, dude, if you want to draw classified fighting female ninjas with nothing on or whatever, then I'll just have to write a story around it, I guess.
Why do you think variants kill? Why do you think variants are bad? Excuse me.
Because especially now, people, you're going to buy a gallon of gas, you're going to buy a $5 comic book right now. I mean, it's all economics.
Ugh,
so why buy the same story 10 times for the variant? I mean, I understand you have, comics have, comic shops will have like 1 in 100 or something. Something's a collectible. I understand that, but think of the 90s. Think about how much the whole industry collapsed because everybody thought this stuff was going to be worth money, and they threw everything on. They threw every story that was horrible with a foil cover or a variant, whatever, glow in the dark, blah blah blah. But and there's a million of those copies around, and they still haven't gone up in value, unless once in a great while there was some character that really took off. But I don't know. For me, I'm just
you're saying you're a purist. So the purist idea is that you have a story. You should only offer that story once. Now, and I got a good point for this. You should only offer that story once. In Crypto Comics Marketplace, when we reach live transactions and with the different actual things we have available for a comic, you can make several different issues with several different things. Like, for instance, you could take the first story and you could post that just as a story. Then you could do it with a soundtrack. Then you can do it with a narration. And those are 3 different books that you've been able to produce without having to rework it to sell it on the market. And that actually helps the creator.
That's I mean, as far as digital, it's a whole creative world. I'm just talking about the printed comic. Because, for instance, look at all the money Marvel makes from all these movies. It's insane. But it's not necessarily driving people in to buy comic books unless they see something that's in Walmart or something. I'm just saying from the publisher standpoint. Now we're in a whole new different technological world with crypto. And all this kind of stuff. So yeah, we can do a special feature or a bonus feature or something like that. But but you're getting them value if they're buying one issue and they have access to all these other ones too. Even if it costs just a little more, I'm not above that. But it's just But here's the thing: if people are going to read the story and they should read it because they love the characters, they should love the artwork, they should love the writer. That should be paramount, not gimmicky covers, not any of that kind of stuff. I'm just saying that isn't what brought me into comics. My comics were the theater.
I'm gonna argue for variants here. I know Matt's gonna agree with you. So I have to be the guy that argues.
Well, did you agree with him too? So now you're really going up against the smart ones.
So let's look at this historically. Originally, variant covers were made because comic shops couldn't compete with one another. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Variants were originally designed to be something where you could only get it at a local comic shop. So comic shop A got cover A, comic shop B got cover B. That's the way that it used to get set up so that local comic shops wouldn't take a huge hit on their order every week. You know what I mean? So that's where variants originally came from.
So they would specifically make a variant to go to that comic shop, or they would make a variant and it would go to like 5 comic shops here in the Midwest.
It depended on the book. Yeah, it depended on the book. But yeah, if you were a big enough shop, you got your own. But normally you would get slotted into a groove where you would get, cover A. And you could get 20 copies of cover A, but the guy that's got a comic shop down the street can't get cover A. They can only get cover B. And so what this would do is it would make it so that comic shops could stay in competition while both remaining in business. Now that's changed now, obviously, like what Lawrence is talking about there.
Yeah, it wasn't much longer until it changed. Yeah, it was just a cash grab. I mean, that's what I see it. It's just a cash grab. That's all it is.
And
It's like,
to some people it is, but we deal with enough, or I shouldn't say enough, but we deal with so many indie creators, and I couldn't tell you how many different artists that I've seen who are just able to feed their families because they did a cover for a book that they didn't directly work on.
Mhm.
And when you see that side of the equation, like Lawrence, back me up here, indie creators aren't making money hand over and fist off of these books.
well, no, but I mean,
You know what I mean?
besides variants, yeah, I mean that's what it comes down to, because now we're at a point where all these movies make money, and everybody's loving their superheroes. But the thing is, though, I mean, creators that I know is like, the people that a lot of that stuff is based on, and some are friends of mine. Well, like Black Panther, for instance, Sal Valuto, I consider a dear friend of mine. He was my neighbor. That's a whole other story I'll get into someday, how I met him, because it's amazing. But and I collected his stuff before I found out I moved into his neighborhood, and he turned out to be one of the nicest guys I ever met. And but the thing is, though, is that you look at Black Panther, and you can see how much stuff was based on his work with Christopher Priest that they did in that movie. And you know how much he makes out of that? Zero, because he was a page rate, and that's, and they're making billions of dollars. Like the X-Men movies were making, millions and millions of dollars. And Dave Cockrum, who drew the new X-Men, when Wolverine and Colossus and all them came in, I think he died in a VA hospital, penniless. So it's just that. I mean, not so much the variance, but that's what irritates me about creators, and that's why I'm a champion of creator. Yeah, the thing is, I might not be as big as Marvel, or I might have a book that sells 1 million copies. But the thing is, though, at the end of the day, I own my stuff. Nobody tells me what's going to happen in Classified. Nobody tells me what's going to happen in, Time Agent. Somebody's going to tell me what's going to happen with, Armored Champion, because those are my books, So, I mean, and that was like Will Eisner, who created the Spirit. DC and Marvel wanted to buy him out for so long back in the, 40s, 50s, and he never would. He stuck to his guns, and nobody ever told him how that character is going to be. And you look at, the story of Batman and Bill Finger, and how, watch that documentary if you haven't seen that one. Or, was it?
That one is great.
They sold, they sold Superman for $100, and then it took them all to the 78 movie to get some compensation back. So, I mean, that's just my beef when it comes to creators,
So with the variant covers, though, I mean, I remember back in the 90s walking into a comic book shop, and you have a whole shelf that's nothing but one issue, just 20 different variants. Okay, so that I wasn't ever a fan of. But when it comes to stuff like the second edition or second printing, third printing, having a separate cover in order to kind of indicate which one's which does kind of help. So,
well, okay, I mean, and I'm not slamming the variants all the way around. I mean, I'm just not a fan. And but you guys are saying like support the people that are involved. That's cool. I have no problem with that. That's great. But the thing is, though, you got to think in the 90s, though, because you notice how many Marvel DC books started putting variants, and how many more indie creators were coming out that time. You know why they kept putting, and they'd flood the markets with like D-list characters just to have books out. Well, the reason they did that, so they wouldn't buy any.
That's Superman.
And there wasn't any competition. So,
right,
I mean, that's just my thing. So when there's one book with 15 covers on it, and they're taking the 15 spaces that could have been another book, that's, I mean, maybe I'm just an old curmudgeon, but that's just where I'm coming from.
No, I agree with you.
That makes total
How
sense.
does actually printing, like the cost of printing and stuff like that with multiple different covers, how does that translate? Is it smaller runs and then just a whole bunch more orders, or does it affect everything as a whole?
I'm sorry, say that again.
When you're actually going to or to print the comics, how does that, the multiple covers affect everything? Are you able to just do smaller orders of one, or is it just one giant mass order?
Oh no, well, I mean, I can do a mass order, and I usually do for people on my Patreon or my supporters on, or if I do a Kickstarter or something, and then I also do print on demand, so people can go. They can either get the digital comic, and now I'm trying to really get to print on demand, so they can just as they buy it, they get it. I mean, I can. I just want to get the books out so people can see them. And like I said, Comixology could really kind of mess me up right now. So, I'm just looking for alternates to really get these books out here. And it looks like your fan base is. Sorry, I'm reading all these.
See this. Vav comes in and says, on this subject, I get that you don't want to cheat people, but what you're doing is creating an asset class for those willing to pay for it. For those willing to pay the price, you are offering the chance for someone who bought it or got it as a gift to one day turn a passion into a surprise windfall. That's an interesting perspective, because I as you were talking, Lawrence, I was kind of thinking about, kind of what I've experienced. And as I was talking, actually, as all three of you guys were talking, because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And I started to think about, with variants. Variants to me are kind of cool because they give that different, like we just saw a Kickstarter with some really cool variants. Like there was a Calvin and Hobbes tribute variant cover, and it was cool. Like it was super cool looking, but I've also seen where people haven't really paid attention to what they're creating as far as the cover goes, and it doesn't really match the book. And you had you and Digi had both mentioned that, and so I can see how, I can see what Vav is saying, but I can also see what you guys are saying. And so you're right, it really is, it's in the eye of the beholder. Right. You know what I mean? Like it's not for everybody. It is kind of cool, but when it comes right down to it, what is the most important thing? And the most important thing is the character, is the story. That's what's going to draw people in. That's what's going to keep people interested. And that's what's going to keep the arc going to completion. That's what's going to be able to allow the story to be told. Great character development, great artwork within the story, carrying that story to fruition. So I get where y'all could be coming from. I think it's a really balancing act to really promote both sides of the argument.
You know what? You just made me realize what you're talking, because think of like Sin City, because they did all the trade paperbacks on Sin City, which I'm all for the trades. People want to get the story in one book, and that's great. But think of this though. In Sin City though, they didn't have variant covers. What he did, Frank Miller had all these different artists and stuff, so they did a gallery, and they used to do that back in the day too. And in all the books, they'd have a gallery where different artists would do their interpretation. I love that idea. So you don't have to buy, 8 books to get all different pieces of art. You can go back in the gallery and you have the pinups in the back. So you just have all these different, Frank Miller, what's his name? Dave Johnson, I think the guy used to do the 100 Bullets covers or something. And, all these different indie creators are coming in, and big names too are doing their take on Marv from Sin City. I thought that was amazing. You know what? I didn't have to buy an extra book. I bought the trade. I guess that's an extra book, but that stuff was in there in the back. Now, something like that I can get behind,
So with what you're talking about, does it work the same as like if you did a different artist for that comic book? So like say you have an arc of say like 6 comic books and you use a different artist for each comic book, or is this something different where there was like a bunch of different artists working on the compilation and they only did pinups in the back, like little prints, I'm assuming?
Yeah, the latter, or what you just said. Yeah, they did their own takes on it, so they each had one page or something. Fans of the book, which are other artists and creators. And I'm all down for that. In fact, if anybody wanted to draw something to put in the back of any of my books, I would so be down to do a gallery in the back, and just I would do that in a heartbeat. And a lot of times I get other artists that do my take on Champion and stuff, which is really cool. But stuff like that I'm down for. I don't know how we got on variants so much, but but I don't know. I just didn't like the idea. I didn't like the idea of 20 books with one story. I don't dig that. I wouldn't do that. But I would do like a special edition. You can buy a book and have all this cool artwork in the back. I'm totally down for that, because that way the fans get something cool, and they're not. It's not breaking the.
You have two different people though to cater to, right? So you have the fans, but then you've got the collectors. So you create that one book, that one story for the fans, but then you create like 1 or 2 variant covers and only do like 10 copies and make sure Fry gets one. See, and then you cover both. You get the fans and the collectors, and everybody's happy.
All right, you guys.
As long as you just give everything to Fry, everybody's happy.
All right, if I ever do a variant, I never want to see this video anywhere ever again. Yes.
He just show everybody. Well, that's a first.
We'll call them all special edition covers. These are not variants. Like big letters across the bottom. Oh, this is not a variant. Dash Lord's White.
Yeah, you know what? I would do that. You know, but it's like that band. This is not a Fugazi T-shirt. Remember that? Remember the band Fugazi? Hey. I don't know. It might be before you guys' time.
Min's coming in because she might be bailing. Lawrence, best of luck and keep kicking ass. Excited to see what you come up with next. Going to take some more flu meds and pass out. Right on. Have a good night. You have a good night too, man. Thanks for always joining us. I think that's fantastic.
Well, get feeling better.
Yeah, ditto. So, yeah, I hope you do get feeling better. All jokes aside.
Yeah,
Bav has something big to say. Hold on. I'm a recovering broker. I don't see these as an investment, but it gives a chance for someone to have something that they thought was cool to one day be a surprise bonus that puts their kid through college or buys their dream home. You can't count on it, but if you happen on it, you can change a fan's life. That's a really good point. But how often does something like that happen? Mm-hmm. Not very, right?
It's, you know what? It's the first appearances of characters that make it big. You know, somebody's telling the day.
Sounds funny. Fry, tell us that again. Fry, tell us that again.
Yeah, I was muted. So it happens like every quarter of the year. There's a big book. Like the most recent real big explosion was Umbrella Academy. The first pressings of that, huge, like through the roof.
Really?
Then Something's Killing the Children.
I think
what was the other one that we were learning about?
You have that Keanu Reeves one.
Berserker. That one cranked up in value.
Dude, that was a craziest. Sorry to interrupt. That was the craziest Kickstarter I ever saw. You can actually go to the page and watch the numbers change looking at your phone. Insane.
That was rad.
It was gnarly. They just cranked it. They hit like millions, didn't they?
Was it like 2.8 million? It was like 2.8.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. That's it. Get a celebrity on board.
When Keanu Reeves says hi.
Well, Vab says someone got a Superman #1. So hold on, we can do this. Let me see. So Matt, if you scroll down, so if you guys want a Superman #1, might I high key suggest the Kickstarter for our homeboy Tom Rapka? He's got a Kickstarter going right now.
Shout out
for
to
kids
Tom.
Book. But check out that cover. So what about variants like that?
The homage cover?
That's not a variant. That's an homage.
Right, but here's the thing:
look at this one.
An homage cover is used as a variant cover now. I think more so than anything else. I love that.
Really?
I actually
he's got so many cool.
Had these ones on there.
They're pretty rad. But how do we start differentiating between homage covers and variant covers nowadays?
Well, you know, it's funny because I go to Comic Cons and people put up their own little homage, and everybody comes, "Oh, those amazing covers," and I'm like, well, you don't ever put like after. It's like X-Men 141, Days of Future Past. That cover is ripped off so many times. And it's like, you got to have balls to come into a Comic-Con with that up, with your characters, and act like that's your original art. When you're standing around all these fans that know exactly where it comes from. You know, just like, you know, so there's a difference between homage and I don't know how to draw, and I'm going to just rip off. I'm going to rip off the most popular covers there are out there and pretend like it's my original work. Do I sound bitter tonight?
I don't think it's really a ripoff if you announce it, and then the people who know comics, who know those covers, are the only people that are really going to see, you know, that like, oh, that's an homage to freaking Superman #1. Like, I would have looked at it and been like, wow, Sammy the Bean's really tough. You know, but to somebody like
those I do like. Those are iconic. So I mean, it's cool the way they did it. I mean,
So
no,
you're
I like
okay
them.
if they're adding the after Steve Ditko or something like that on there.
Oh well, it depends on how good it's done. I mean, I like quality too. I'm a snob. I'm a snob when it comes to comics. I have to admit. I
Oh,
just
really?
yeah.
Guess what? I know two more.
Not true. I think
Y'all the
everybody's a
elitists.
snob in their own.
Hey, I'm a
Everybody's
DC fan, so I can't be called a snob.
That's true.
Just
That's
that.
true. That's
Well,
true. You guys are
DC.
kind of like the Harbor Freight of comics.
Oh, ooh.
Whoa. That's
As
pretty
opposed
rough.
to the Wish.com ones that you would create, right, Jared?
Hey, I'm for indies only. So,
See,
are you
I even
All
work
right,
at
Matt, time for
Indies
bets.
Wish?
I even work at Granger Industrial, so yeah, Harbor Freight. I was snob towards them too.
Bob says, I was just in it for the fact that it's like tucking a lotto ticket in the books. Very true.
Ooh.
Well, and that I could see that. I can see that. I understand the investment aspect, especially when you're going for those that comic like what Fry was talking about with those comics that hit this year and last year. Because I remember Matt and Fry raving about those comics, talking about, oh man, these are so good. I didn't understand that the comics had gone up in value that much since they had been done. I was under the impression that only old comics valued highly.
No,
it depends on what happens in the book. Yeah, it depends on what happens in like Wolverine's first appearance. Even though it's old now, but I mean, like Turtles. It just depends, like first appearances or what happens in the story. Like what Ms. Marvel, that's a big character right now. Not that I really read much Marvel, but I got the lowdown on that. I still kind of keep my pulse on what's happening and stuff like that. You know what? But you know what? I think we got off way too much. Variants, I mean, that's cool. I don't mind if they do it. It's the gimmicky covers. It's the gimmicky covers that I can't stand. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still not a big variant. 20 variants to one story. No, that's a little much because it's usually the big companies that are doing it, or else Image when they first came out, all they were Flash was no substance. I mean, now they are substance. I mean, because you don't have Vertigo anymore from DC, where you had the adult comics that were really great, and you had Sandman and Swamp Thing and all that kind of stuff. So now Image has become that. All these creators that want to be. They don't want to be pigeonholed by the big two, and they want to do their own original stories. Jump to Image, and Boom Studios. I think it's pretty big.
That might be part of the confusion for me, Lawrence, is because most of my, most of what I've been shown and stuff like that has been from indie creators, and I've seen a lot of indie creators lately doing a lot of variants. But you just made a statement that was something done by the big dogs, like the Marvel and DC.
That was more gimmicky, like they had like a foil cover, or the 3D cover, or something. The only one I saw that was really cool, they did like an Alex Ross, where you turn the hologram a certain way, and his Clark Kent open up his shirt and change into Superman and flying off. And that was, I don't know.
Well,
somebody correct me on that, but I thought that was cool for a gimmicky cover, but it was still gimmicky. Get people to buy the book. But that was kind of a classy, cool one. And there's been some decent ones out there, but for the most part, it's just in the '90s, all these gimmicky covers came up, and all the variants, and I don't know. I'll just stick this one.
I remember what you were saying about that, but one of the things that really hurt the comic book industry about those covers was the fact that you, as the comic book store, had to buy a minimum amount, and so they were buying these mass amounts of all these covers, and if you wanted one of each, that means you had to buy 15 to 20 of each, and I mean, that hurts the value of the comic. That hurts, the comic book store, because they can't they can't sell all those comics. So
right. Well, here's the other thing, though. Because you have Diamond, who was the monopoly of comic books. So as an indie creator, they're taking 50% off the top of your book to even put them in their book. So then there's a chance you might not even get picked up by any store because you're battling with the Marvels and the DCs. So Diamond has, I think, They're part of the problem, if not the biggest part of the problem, because they put the stranglehold on the industry. You're not making any money. I mean, that's what people say. I want to be a comic artist. I'm like, dude, go in construction. Go do something else, because if you plan on being rich and famous, it's like, unless you bleed and want to do this for a living, I don't recommend it as being the be all end all. In fact, I just started another job today in sales.
Hey, congratulations,
that's my
dude. That's like
background.
your
Alright.
third job now.
Yeah, well, I mean, my last job was for 15 years straight, but you know what? That's supported on my comic stuff. So, I mean, I'm not a rich creator, and unless I get off to a movie or something, maybe. I don't know. I do it because I love it. I got these stories in my head that I want to get out. But my thing is, though, is the reason the comic shops do so poorly because they're so beholden to these distributors. I'm surprised there's still comic shops around, to be honest with you. And the other thing with digital and everything else, I mean, crypto or anything, digital's the way of the future. The NFTs is the way of the future. And if somebody doesn't get on board, but the thing is, though, the comic shops knew this 30 years ago. So, I mean, I understand there's people out there that love comic books and want to make a living at it. But the system that they have is just so, and not the comic book owner, the comic shop owner. It's the people. It's the distributors that you never see any successful business run the way comic books are run. And it's like, and the creators. I mean, there's so many that don't get any royalties off what they do. It's all work for hire, and then something hits big. And even like the Marvel DC, Marvel Daredevil and Jessica Jones, it's like the producer says created by. It's like, you didn't create this, you just turned it into a TV show. It's the comic creators that created this stuff, but they get the creator byline. It's like, what? So I mean, but the system is so rigged against artists. It's like you don't expect to go to the doctor and not pay your doctor for doing surgery, right? But as an artist, though, people want me to draw shit all the time and not pay me. It's just an artist thing, and that's the way people look at this industry. I mean, you got the Image and you got the big indie guys that went off and did something, which is great. But I think that's a great model, like Image. I mean, it wasn't the best comics. Their art was great, but the stories were just retread X-Men stories. But they turned into something great now. I mean, a lot of people, you look at all these creators flocking to them because they own it, and they have a stake in what happens with it. The only Image owns that little logo at the top, and they're not paying anybody to write and draw these, because the people that are bringing their stuff to that they accept are the ones paying the artists, the writers, the colorists, the letters. So I mean, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Now, if they do the variant thing, I don't know. I'm kidding.
Well, no, dude, you're 100% on target, though, Lawrence. You're 100% on target. That this industry needs an overhaul. It needs to change.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is it is happening.
Yesterday.
It is happening because of people like you, because of people like Matt and Fry. This industry is actually starting to change. People are more they're more connected to the creators than they've ever been before. They're more supportive of the creators. I don't know if you saw the chat from Crutchy, but he literally said, I only support indie creators.
Yeah, I saw that.
And,
that's cool.
Yeah, and that truly is, in my own humble opinion, from what I've seen, just in the short time that I've been involved in this industry, that's the movement that's happening. That's what gives me like fire. That's what makes me go, this is what's going to happen. This is what we're going to do. Take the system. Because they don't know what they're talking about. They are just jerks. They've been taking advantage of all the hard workers, people having 3, 4, 10 jobs. Come on. We need to just get them out of the way. Let the people who have great art and just feeling and emotion inspire us and show us those awesome stories and those fantastic pictures. That's what I'm talking about, Lawrence.
I love the fact that his microphone cuts out any time his voice gets too loud, and so when he gets that excited, you just hear.
It's a good thing. You guys couldn't handle me at that level of intensity and power.
The whole internet.
That's true.
You at that level.
It's all right.
But hey, we love the energy, Jared.
I don't know how well you guys can see this, but
hold on. There is a challenge.
Here's my cover to Afro Black. Sorry, you're probably getting reflection back.
That's awesome. That's awesome. There is a challenge,
That's really
though.
cool.
It's still in the
There
works.
is a challenge.
Oh, okay.
Digi is begging anyone to name one memorable story from Image Comics in the 90s. Besides Image's initial boom, there's nothing to recall. Okay, so there's the challenge.
Gem 13?
Deadpool.
What's that?
Image Comics, Jared. That was Marvel.
Image. Sure.
You know what?
Yeah.
I gotta agree. I didn't see anything really cool come along till. God, I don't. I mean, there was some.
Dude,
I mean, there's like
what?
Saga. I like Saga.
Guys,
I
the
love
whole
Gem 13.
storyline of Spawn through the 90s was awesome.
Yes, yeah, totally. But that was part of the initial launch from Image.
So,
Yeah,
wait, so
wasn't
we
it the very first?
It can't.
Launch
Besides
Image?
Image's initial boom, I don't know what that means.
No, I mean
So-
initial boom.
Digi,
Besides,
you got to be more specific because this is kind of you're saying
No,
there's
I
nothing in the 90s except all the stuff that
Would-
was cool in the 90s.
would
you
the
know what?
Max
You know what?
fall under
I'm gonna stick with. I'll back JD here. He's saying besides the fact of them forming Image, there really wasn't any big stories. I mean, yeah, a lot of that stuff, like it was all flashy, but the stories were pretty weak. I'll give him that. There
Wait.
wasn't- I mean,
Was Spawn a part of this? Because Spawn was awesome.
Yes.
Spawn was,
awesome.
you know what?
Spawn
Spawn was cool. I got like the first 30 something issues, and you know, I mean, it was cool. I don't know. I guess after 6 or 8 issues, I'm like, what is the story? You know, it kind of took a while to kind of, and the artwork looked great and all that stuff, and you know, Todd McFarlane's amazing. But yeah, it was.
Right.
It took a while. For me though, I was like, okay, it looks cool, but you know, compared to like Alan Moore and you know, Sandman and all that cool stuff, I'm just like, you know, yeah, you know.
Did
but
anybody
that
read?
Oh,
Did anybody read
spot on,
Divine Right?
Lawrence.
I gotta say.
what's that?
Did anybody read Divine Right?
Divine Right. I remember it.
I remember
it's a-
hearing that.
Oh man, it was the worst comic I've ever read in my life. It was drawn and written by Jim Lee, so it was amazing art. But it was about a pizza delivery guy who was. It was such a bad story. Like he got the Secret Service like thing implanted in his brain, and it was so horrible.
Divine Right. Max Faraday. It's, you know what? I was trying to. Yeah, I remember seeing like an ad for it. I never picked it up. Yeah.
Oh, I picked up the first 4 issues.
I'm gonna
and I
check
was
it out
like,
now. If it's that horrible, I want to check it out now.
Yeah, you're gonna add it
so
to your
bad.
collection, right? You got to have it. I mean, you're only 30,000 in.
I don't know, but I've been listening to. You ever listen to the podcast Thinking Critical? That guy, he kind of does like the new comics that come out this week. Oh man, he slams them, and he's just like, I don't know. It's funny because I look at it, it's just like, because everything's so PC now, and you know, oh my god, you know, it's like they got to be pretty. And he says like, it's like every character that you knew back in the day. They talk. All the girls sound like they're from TikTok, and you know, yeah, he's got some valid points. You know, I guess I'm very the un-PC guy. You know, I mean, I'm all for diversity. I'm all for, you know, making characters. You know, but when you have to like slaughter character, I mean, yes, I know some of these were made in the 40s, and yes, people say, oh, well, they're not with the times, and da da da. But you know, it's like, but these are the characters us hardcores grew up with. You know, and now you got to make them
start with somebody new. Yeah, no. Keep characters in tune with their character that they were built on, and then start with somebody new. That's the way to be.
I totally agree with that. Actually,
yeah,
totally, 100%.
Every indie creator we have been lucky enough to come and hang out with us has agreed with that statement. Mm-hmm. You know, it really is taking a character, letting that character develop. If they don't fit the times, washing that character out and coming out with a new character.
Now, don't get me wrong. Now, you know, like Jon Stewart in Green Lantern, that's a great character. You know, I remember when he showed up. And at the same time, who was it? Rhodes in War Machine now. But you know, when he came out and took over for Iron Man, that was great. That was cool. Like that was great stories. I mean, those are cool characters. You know. I know they wanted to diversify things up, and that was cool. But they didn't like, you know, they didn't. Yeah, see, I guess J.D. Smith. I like this guy.
I love Gen 13. Is that the one with the guy with the balls around him and he bounced around and the other guy he could change his skin to
No,
metal
you're
and
thinking
stuff
of Speedball. That
yeah.
was Marvel.
Was it that Gen 13?
That's Marvel.
No, that's the one with Fairchild and what's
No.
Grunge
I'm pretty sure.
and
I'm pretty sure it was Gen 13.
Gen 13 was Fairchild. It was with the big strong dude, and then
that was Grunge.
Yeah, and then then there was the other guy.
I gotta Google it actually. Wow.
Oh, I could see him plain as day, but that's it. You're right, JD. They're not memorable. I can tell any memorable story with any of them. But I remember the art because they ripped out the Janet Jackson video, and so, I mean, yeah, It was all flash. There was no good stories there. I don't think too many people are going to argue with me.
So it was all art.
The art
That's
was
where
great.
the art got to stand out because the story sucked so bad that the art had to really carry it, and that's where the artists got their chance to be seen.
And then he had not Youngblood. He had Youngblood was there, but he had Wildcats and what was the other one?
I love Wildcats.
Wildcats and Cyberforce. Oh yeah, it looked great too. I mean, that was Jim Lee's. Yeah, I got to Google it actually. Case in point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well played. Nobody's listening to us.
But no, I mean, I bought Wildcats too because the art was great.
Guys.
I don't know. I like a little more substance in my book. But the art was great. Don't get me wrong. The art was amazing. But Jim Lee's amazing.
I love art.
If you ever get the chance, check out Jim Lee's very first comic ever. It was called, I believe, like the Samurai Santa. It was about a mall Santa. It was such a horrible story, but it's the first Jim Lee.
Well, I have his very first Marvel work. That's I think it's Alpha Flight number 55.
Alpha Flight, yeah.
Yeah, I got the very first one of that. Even when Alpha Flight got horrible, I still followed it just because I was such a diehard. But that was a good part there. And then I think Dave Ross came in. Sorry, I'm feisty.
Don't you be sorry, Digi. We love it. We love it when you come in feisty.
Keeps us on our toes.
Yeah, seriously. And Lawrence is like loving it because you're all taking his side the whole time. He's like, yeah, me and Digi, we got these punks. I'm keeping the score. You guys are winning.
Yeah, I got to show you something cool my girlfriend put in the window.
Oh.
This is like the only artboard I've had. And I got this in college like over 25 years ago. That's how many times I've painted and drawn on this thing. And it's even warped.
That's awesome, dude.
It's not even straight. Look at it. See, it's not even straight. It's all warped.
Wow. That's like
everybody's like, that
looks like a Ripper mural.
Well, here on the back, I don't know if you can still see it, but I actually had to draw the cone of vision for my art. Yeah, you can't even see it. It's so worn out now. So that's why I do the drawing side, and then that's when I do the painting side.
Holy criminy.
Yeah.
Dang, Lawrence.
It actually kind of reminds me of Jack Kirby's drawing desk.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Coded.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That boy had no life, man. Watching his documentaries on him, he just sat there forever. That's all he did.
All right. So, Lawrence, if you were to write a reboot of a top, well, I shouldn't say top three, but of a main three, a big three comic line, any story arc that happened or began in the 90s, which one would you choose for you to rewrite it and make it the right way?
I don't know. That's a good question. There's a lot, maybe like the 60s. Actually, me and my buddy Trevor, we actually was going to redo OMAC. We always thought that was a cool story. That was, I think DC did a story based on that later, but we kind of wanted to give it a little more depth. Actually, I think I wrote a script somewhere. So it's still the same story, but I jazzed it a little bit. But I'm a storyteller. I like to get into characters and dialogue and stuff like that. Let's see. In the 90s, which one would I have redone?
You got to answer the same question, Fry. I got to hear what you have to say.
Sin City.
Do it?
Sin City was perfect the way it was. You leave your ugly mitts off it.
Sin City doesn't need to be changed. I feel like it deserves like an entire universe around that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well,
I will agree
well,
with
it
that.
kind of was. But then Frank Miller, he kind of got sloppy towards the end. I mean, then he went off the
He
deep
got
end there
weird.
for a while.
He got a little too racist for me, honestly.
Yeah, and then his that Dark Knight. What's it? Not Dark Knight Returns. What was the
number 3?
No, the second one was horrible. The Dark Knight. Oh shoot. It was dark. Yeah, the second one. After Dark Knight Returns is amazing, but that second one he came out with is like. It was like just splash pages, and I had no idea what was going on. It was like a third grader drew it. It was horrible. Yeah, that's. But I think that's pretty much the consensus. Yeah, let's see. You know one story I probably would have after they did a Crisis on Infinite Earths. I think they did like Final Hour or something. They did, but they did that 0 Hour or something like there. I would have tried to keep it to the legacy of, because I think Crisis on Infinite Earths was meant to be like the definitive modern version of comics, and and you had Batman Year One, and you had Man of Steel, Byrne, and all those guys. And I think along the way they keep doing these Crises, and they just never catch the thunder the same. It find a way to get everybody the legacy back to, and even keep them timeless. I mean, the thing I like who is it? Grant Morrison always does all the weird, multi-universe stuff where everything counts basically, and that's what they're kind of doing in the Marvel and DC movies now. They're gonna everything still counts. But yeah, it'd be cool. You still got the timeline where you got the '40s Batman. You got the Dark Knight. You got kind of I mean, all imagination, anyways, right? When it boils down to it. So yeah. I think we had a way to kind of keep everything, canon. I guess that'd be kind of cool. But I don't know. But I would rather do. But instead of doing big stories like that, I think it's time for new characters, new creators, new companies to do stuff like that. That's what I try to do, anyways. You can only make Spider-Man a teenager so many times before it gets old, So you got to do something.
I want to see like a 92-year-old Spider-Man. That's what I want to see.
I would love to see that.
He has to fight the Goblin through a retirement home. So he has to cruise around in a wheelchair and let him fight. That'd be awesome, dude. I would love that. And get one of the cartoony guys. What's the guy? The one guy I really wasn't a big fan of, but I like his stuff now, is Scotty Young. He always does the little kid version stuff. Yeah, have him draw it. They're all geriatric. That would be cool.
That could be funny. You know what I mean? Him talking about hospice care and like.
Right. Well, then if it's what's his name? Who's the first Spider-Man? Oh God, I just went blank. Not Andrew Garfield. The other one, Tobey Maguire.
Oh, Tobey Maguire.
Because everything's biological. If he has to shoot his webs, maybe it's all dust.
Okay, so JD Smith says, I'm waiting for the what if Aunt May became Spider-Man. That happened.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, I thought that did too. Mm-hmm.
When did it happen?
Google it. I think.
Wow, it was a long time ago. She had this like apron. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
I want to say it was like the baker's hat too. That was like the Spider-Man red with the the webbing on it. It was
one episode.
No,
I remember.
Not a what if the TV show. What if the comic?
No, yeah, it was what if. Yeah, it was a what if. Yeah, back in the 80s or 90s. Yeah, I think I remember that.
Well, you don't even need to wait any longer, man. Get down to your local comic book store and grab one.
I'm sure it's in the quarter bins right now.
Oh,
if that.
This podcast will make it big. Go buy it now.
Oh, see, now he's feeling great. Now he's feeling like his day in May is made.
I know. I thought he put Mayday too.
I feel like I need to go find this now, man. This actually sounds pretty rad.
Google it.
They make a Team Spider-Man. Like I never read this, but and this is so they used this book to introduce the Superior Spider Army and everything. thing too. There's a lot of stuff that actually came from this storyline that like stuck around, even though Aunt May as Spider-Man never did. That's kind of cool.
Really? I gotta look.
So
it
you're
up.
saying Into the Spider-Verse 2, you want Aunt May to show up in that costume? And
What do you remember?
Or-
Well, this might be before you guys' time, but look it up. She almost married Dr. Octopus at one time.
I remember that
Really?
one.
I remember that. I remember that. Guys, it
So it
says
wasn't
here that
happy?
instead of webbing, she has special dough.
Oh.
Yep, she had the mixing
Are you
bowl. That's
serious?
right.
Are you
This
serious?
is
Totally
too cool,
serious.
man.
That sounded so
gosh.
wrong until you mentioned the mixing bowl.
I love it.
Seriously. She'd be flipping around yeast.
The web yeast.
And her alias is Spider-Man.
That's right. I do
Spider-Man.
remember that.
Oh, Spider-Man. Of course.
You know what?
I'm learning all sorts of stuff. This is fun.
You know what? I wonder if I have that issue. I think I might even have it somewhere. Now that you're talking about it, I remember all this stuff.
This cover looks fantastic, guys.
Oh yeah,
Let's just
Did she stand there with her mixing bowl,
be
right?
realistic.
that's a picture.
It looks like she's-
Oh,
her
she's
and Miles
knitting.
Morales.
She's
With
knitting
webbing.
a spider.
No, that isn't the one I'm thinking of. No, I'm gonna
Oh, I'm just saying in this picture. Let's see here.
Look at the
Let's
look at
find
the
out
cover
what it
that's
looks
made
like.
on.
What
That's
if
the- that's the-
23?
That's the artwork I remember. No, that's the artwork I remember. Yeah. Okay. No, it was backup. Okay. What if the whole that was the backup story?
Mm-hmm.
It was
It
back
was like
on.
Conan, right? Is that it? I remember that.
So I think this is a part of it, and the
It's
cover
What If
itself
number
for What If
23, July 1980.
All right, let's see.
So it looks like it's the Hulk Could Become Barbarian was the cover in that month, but this was one of the stories in there.
So there must have
And
been a
here's what's
backup
great,
story to that.
That's also where Crypto Men comes from. Marvel clearly ripped us off on that one. I mean, I know they're 35
Oh,
years
yeah.
before us.
When did this
But-
book come out again? 1980?
1980.
Yeah.
That's the
83.
I
original
think
What
we can
If.
get them for trademark.
You know, there's
So
some
I
really
gotta
cool.
say, yeah, the backup stories and the what ifs were always the best.
You know what?
They had
There's a bunch
That's
in there.
cool.
It's like one of the best ones from What Ifs. Look up the cover. It says, "What if Conan was stranded in the 20th century?" Awesome.
Oh,
Yeah. Look at the cover.
A lot
I
of
think it's
people would
Bill
die.
Sienkiewicz. You know who Bill Sienkiewicz is? He's the one that he created Legion. He does a real funky artwork. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
look up. Yeah, what if Conan was stuck in the 20th century? That's one of the coolest covers ever made, ever.
Well, the only thing I could find so
Yeah.
far was an eBay
Yeah, that's it.
listing, but
Yeah, look at that. Look at that cover.
okay, that's pretty rad.
That's Bill Sienkiewicz.
Oh,
He's
I
the one that
missed
kind of does. He did the New Mutants and a lot of
Oh.
X-Men stuff for a while. You know what? He did
That's so
Electro
cool.
Assassin with Frank Miller.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that cover.
That's the 357 Magnum, guys.
Yeah, he's doing the Dirty Harry thing. Look up. What's the other one? And he also did the other one. It says, "What if the
You can
whole?"
buy this for $7 right now.
God, really? That's not
Okay,
bad.
760, bro.
And what was the other one?
Oh, what if the Hulk went
Your
berserk? Yeah, what if the Hulk went berserk? He does that cover and it's amazing. Looks like Hulk like losing his mind. It's been a long time, but I just remember it plain as day. That cover like shook me as a kid. I was like, whoa.
This
look at
one
that
here?
Yeah, that's
That
it.
is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Dude, if the Hulk went berserk, the world would be destroyed.
Oh, he destroys everything, and he actually ends up killing. No, is it? No, he ends up killing Iron Man at the close to the end, and then Thor has to come down and break his neck. Thor's the only one that could stop him.
Thor can actually stop the Hulk? Like, actually?
You know, I think so.
He's Thor.
Eh,
Of course you can.
He's a
I
god.
don't know. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I always thought
puny
unless it was
god.
like blow that up closer, man. That's cool if you can. What you guys think?
Let me see if I resize my window a bit. I think I can make this a bit bigger there. There we go.
That is pretty wicked looking. Oh man.
Because his hands coming out there and breaking the letters. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah, you can see it
That's-
just wrapped around right here.
But you can.
Yeah.
I think
you
this
can
might
see
just be
his-
like a rough cover.
everything's going berserk.
How'd you get the Popeye
That
video
is the
game in the past?
best artistic interpretation of berserk I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's Bill Sienkiewicz. He's great. He does a lot. Yeah, he did a lot of letter with Frank Miller too. That was good stuff to pick up. The hand and I don't know. You guys ever watch Daredevil, the season 2?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that has a lot to do. It's based on Frank Miller. Thor is more powerful than Hulk overall, but Hulk's strength is pretty evenly matched. Yeah, that's just cool because strong in the matter he gets, stronger he gets. But then Thor's a god, so that's why they're always evenly matched.
Didn't the Hulk like go and smash freaking Thor's homeland? Like, wasn't he like feared?
What you talking Ragnarok?
Are
you talking about the
original?
Ragnarok, I think.
No,
it
no.
wasn't
In
Ragnarok.
that, there was a comic a long time ago that was Thor versus Hulk, where he actually went to Asgard, and they thought he was a giant, and so they tried to treat him like a giant, and he basically he showed him what's
destroyed
up.
him. Yeah, he basically mopped at Asgard
Actually,
with their faces.
If you watch the cartoon Hulk versus, I believe the second
That's
one,
where I
basically tells
saw
that
it.
story. It tells
That's
that same
it.
story. So yeah.
Yeah, because the other one is when he fights Wolverine, Deadpool, and Sabretooth, and all those guys in it. My little man loved that show. Shout out to Sky. We used to watch that constantly. Yeah, I was like, why did I know that story from? Yeah, it's from the Hulk versus. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Same. World War Hulk. No one could stop him.
That's good. That's good stuff there too. I love that story. And then what Planet Hulk? That was good. That was a good run of Hulk right there.
Oh yeah.
The Sentry, I was never a big Sentry fan. It's just kind of like because they tried to make it like, oh, this is the forgotten hero from the universe, back. The Sentry was supposed to be like this forgotten hero that was created back in the Golden Age, and it was all just a hoax. Yeah, it's just a lame character. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of Sentry.
Hulk was like one of my favorites, just because he's like, you think Hulk and then you think Rage Against the Machine, all at the same time. Like that's the soundtrack playing in my head as he rages through something.
So what else should we cover, gentlemen?
Oh, we got 2 more books, I think.
I think we've already gone through 3.
Your 2 books, and we'll call it a night.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So
Time Agents.
All right. You know what? That's all my artwork on the front cover. I colored that. I lettered it. I did everything on that cover. Yeah.
Really?
Man, it's kind of cheating.
Standing ovation, brothers.
Yeah, I did everything.
That is
I did.
detailed.
Yeah, I did. The colors, everything is all my work. That's one of the few that I've actually done everything on. Besides now I'm doing Afro Black. That's going to be like the first book I do everything on in a long, long time. But Time Agents, this is the story I was telling you about. So at the beginning, I was working with this guy named Don.
This has Father Time the Clock Watcher.
This is the so here's the cool thing. So I had 2 stories, and shout out to James Reed, my letterer, who's amazing. He's probably one of the best. Kurt Hathaway are my 2 go-to letterers. So anyways, this guy shows up at work, and there's one of the agents sitting there at the in the dark room. So basically what happens, this guy walks in, and Davidson, our main hero, tells him, he's like, what are you doing? And he says, well, you can never have your daughter must never be born. He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, I haven't gotten anything for 3 weeks. What are you talking about? And he goes, and he says, so he ends up giving her these pills, and he says, you're going to have to be sterile And he says,
Ugh.
I don't understand. So he starts telling him about his daughter and what happened. So it's basically, she's like just this Hitler. And
His daughter, his unborn daughter, is going to be Hitler.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it says because your daughter. He goes, daughter. He goes, so he's like, I'm going to have a daughter. He goes, I want to get your hopes up. He goes, wait, what do you mean? So then this is where he's kind of telling him, oh yeah. So it's a little. He's getting a little personal. So then here's his daughter. So he starts telling the story about his daughter and how she forms this big world organization, and it basically goes all genocide on everybody. And all these people are just, can't deal with it and stuff. There's like worldwide depression, and and then people start turning on each other, and they're taking their supplies and do what they can for. But here's the cool thing. So there's everybody reads the story and like, well, we're kind of get thrown right into this, but this was actually going to be the second story, and the first story is going to be this is all we have on here. So in the second story is actually the origin. There's two stories in that book. So the origin in this book, I think I sent it to you guys, but the second story is actually the origin of the time agents. So I was going to put the origin first, and my editor at the time says, dude, you got to put that story because that's going to freak everybody out, wondering what's going on, and then you tell the origin. And I got more responses from everybody, like, that is so cool the way you did that. And they give me all the credit. I'm like, no, that was the way I was going to do it. I was like, I was the other way around. But the other story is I have an artist named Pedro Pontes, and he painted the whole backstory, the origin. So it's all gray tones and color. And
really?
Yeah. So I'll have to, well, you guys, Jared, you have the link. I got my Dropbox link. I'll share it with you guys. You guys can read it and check it out. But it's that's like it was his suggestion to flip it around, and I have more response. Everybody's like, this is so cool. I don't think it would have been as cool if I went with my original idea of doing the origin and then doing the first story. It kind of has more impact with that one and then going into where they all came from. So I'll send it to you guys so you guys can check it out.
That first preview kind of draws you in pretty hard. It gets freaking intense really fast, and you're like still trying to figure out what the flunk is going on.
That's right. Yeah. Well, next is I'll give you guys the second issue. We're gonna have a 2-part story. I might even do it to 2 and 3. Excuse me, but it's called Operation Reboot, and it's it has to do with John Wilkes Booth, and they have to decide whether or not he's going to kill Abraham Lincoln.
Oh,
so if that sounds cool.
That would be pretty rad.
Yeah.
And then it only gets
like
deeper. And darker. Yeah, and then I got another one too. It's like they have to protect this island. Dragon's Dad, or is that a different Drax? No, isn't Drax? No, I thought Drax was Moondragon's dad.
It is. Yeah,
and not the movies, not the movie version.
No, not in the movies, but in the comics, Drax the Destroyer's. He's Moondragon's dad.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's. It was.
And also, originally in the comics, he was human and from Earth. So.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was like part android or something too. Like they really messed him up before he. Because I remember Jim Starlin created him, who created Thanos and everybody else. But I remember the Infinity Watch. You guys ever remember that comic? It was for Pip the Troll, and it was Adam Warlock, because Adam Warlock was a big deal with all the Thanos stories, and I'm surprised they never put him into Infinity War and all that, Endgame and stuff. Adam Warlock would have been perfect in those, but they hinted at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when he's in that bubble, they're like, oh, it's Adam. So they're finally going to bring him around. Yeah, so. All right, I'm geeked out. All right, one more before my woman doesn't want to talk to me anymore.
Right?
All right.
So
let's see, I'm just grabbing a link for anybody that might be in chat so they can also check this one out as well.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to answer
there
a
we
question.
go. Thank you.
I'm new in this world. I want to know if there are art posters or something like that. So Samurai, there's prints. Comic book creators do a lot of prints, and that's where you get their art of their characters and stuff like that.
All right,
Wow,
here's champion.
that's cool.
Now this is a Aaron, my writer. He penciled this, and so this is a funny story. So I did the black inks, but then I was at work, and I took my construction markers and made that page. Now the inside is a different artist, and so
you did the
basically
cover with marker?
No, that inside, the one where he's standing, all the blue lines come down.
Huh?
Go back, yeah, right there, that one. And if you see the white, that's ink. That's black ink that I splattered all over my patio, and I brought it inside, and then I reversed it in Photoshop to get the blue and the white. So actually, everything that was white is actually black ink. But if you look at him, all the different colors, that's just me with construction markers, like you'd use on a construction site to mark stuff. I just had a bunch of them behind me at work, and I just started playing around with it and made all those different colors. So that's all hand done. There's nothing. I mean, I layered it on top of my my ink picture, but it's still hand drawn. It's just different layers. I shouldn't be telling everybody my secrets, but that's how I do it. And then the white is actually
stop giving
black
away
ink.
your secrets, dude.
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't tell
Although it's
anybody
awesome.
that. Yeah. So here's the story. It's so this champion, this superhero, this Superman type character is gone, and he like saved the world. So, but only half the people remember him, and half the people don't. The younger generation doesn't remember him all. So this is a journalist that wants to go find him. He got so right here, right when they walk up here on the next panel, there's an old man that greets him, and so then everybody, then he kind of finds out all the secrets about, because this guy here, this journalist with his daughter, he's like a huge champion fan. So the whole story is, and then they go back and they start discovering everything about him. So on the next one though, they meet this old guy, and then everybody tells me, oh, it's Champion. He's just older. And here's the trick. Here's the secret. He's not Champion. But the character is very important. But here's what you say: my shared universe. This is the only shared universe bit that I have. Is that somebody in my Armored Champion story is the same character in one of my Time Agent stories.
Oh,
and
really?
In about 5 years, I'm going to wait that long. I've been percolating on this story forever. Is that that's the only story I ever plan on a crossover. So my very first 2 comic books I ever put in print they're going to be tied together. And it's not who you think. It's not who you think at all. But it's going to be epic.
I'm going to tell everybody who it is tomorrow. So,
did I tell you? I might have even told you. Did I tell you?
No, you haven't. I was just Lawrence, don't. I had them on the cliff. They were going to come back tomorrow. But you know what's great about tomorrow? Tomorrow never comes. We're always in today.
Well, if I don't live that long, you want me to tell everybody right now?
No.
I'll tell everybody. You want me to?
Next time.
Yes or no?
You're not going to spoil.
Don't do it. Come on.
Gregory, stop! Oh my gosh! Take it! We saved it.
But that's the only thing. Actually, I give a shout out to Aaron.
I want just before you get into it, because I know you want to tell everybody your secrets, but we're not going to let you.
He wants to do a shout out, Jared. He wants to do a shout out.
Oh, go ahead. My bad. Sorry.
Oh, I want to give a shout out to A.M. Johnson, my co-creator with Champion. Well, I created Champion, but then Aaron helped me out so much with it that I actually went and copyrighted it with him. And his brother actually draws a lot of it too. He didn't draw that issue, but us 3 in that character has been through a lot. So my dad passed away. I met them 2 through probably one of my best friend's sons, because they went to school together with each other. Those guys came into my life. I was a kidney donor. Those guys sat at my bedside and like winterized my house. No, they like did spring cleaning in my house while I was recovering in my bed. And then we sat there and I'm gutted like fish, and they're sitting there, and we're just making champion stories. But the plot twist that I'm talking about, me and Aaron actually drove from Salt Lake to Idaho to go see my parents, and that's well, my dad must have been, my dad has already passed away, my mom, and that's where we came up with this story. We actually brainstormed like 60 issues in a 3-hour drive, 2.5-hour drive. So, and it's pretty much set in stone
awesome.
now. Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's awesome. That is hero caliber collaboration.
Oh yeah, we kick around ideas, but the thing is though, I'm really smooth with a lot of people that I work with. But me and Aaron fight like brothers. Like we like threaten to throw each other out on the patio and beat the out of each other. Like, that's a stupidest idea. He would never do that. And I'm like, what do you know, man? Yeah, he's like,
hey,
then,
that's when the best things happen.
Like one time, like he gave me a script and he goes, "I'll give it to you in 3 days." And I'm like, "Cool, man. Like you're showing an effort." And I got it. Man, I said, "Dude, this is the weakest I've ever read in my life." I'm like you call this a story? And that's how we do. Oh yeah, I'm like, dude. I'm like, did you even try to write a story? And he's the only one that brings it out of me. Everybody else, I'm pretty cool. Like I critique and I do my little, And usually I'm pretty easygoing. Like Marcelo, I'll do a pencil sketch, it'll be like stick figures. And I'll send it to him, and he'll be sending back the most brilliant stuff. And we hardly ever argue unless a payment. That's it. And it's just it's getting paid on time. That's the only thing we ever really fight about. But me and Aaron, oh no, it's 4-letter words, F-bombs. No, we seriously, like after like an hour, we're gonna kill each other.
Dude, that's how the magic happens, bro.
Over a story.
That's how the magic happens. Which I want to get to this. Lawrence has been awesome enough to put some previews in Crypto Comics Marketplace for anybody to go out and really get a feel for what he does. But I want to make sure that people know where to go and support you as an indie creator. So where can we buy your comics, Lawrence?
Indie Planet. If Kablam will do the print on demand. So that's why you get the Kablam. I think I got it here. So for right now, let's see. So if you get classified, it's gonna have Kablam because they're the ones printing it for me because I get a really good deal printing them from them. So if I put their ad on the back of my comic, it knocks it down almost $1. Well, not quite $1, but each print. So it supports them too. So awesome. I'm all about that. So do
you have a link? Do you have a link, Lawrence, that we can give everybody?
I do. It's oh shoot. Here, let me find it for you. If you just go to indieplanet.com and just go classified #1, it's there. And I'm also going to get Saya, Armored Champion, Time Agents up there quick. And then after that, I'm going to put so that's great. And then let's see. And then I have Point Blank magazine coming up. So that's going to have about 8 stories in it. That's going to be up there as fast as I can get it done. I just finished. I had to re-ink one book because we had it done, but then I realized it was all low resolution. It was pixelated. My artist sent everything low res, and that's another guy you can kill. And I kind of talk to him the same way I talk to Aaron. But I got a bunch of stories. I'll send them to you. I got Peacekeeper, Steel Soldiers, all the stories that I didn't put out like I did these ones. So there's about 8 stories in there. I got a kind of a spoof on James Bond. It's like, think of James Bond. You ever see like what was it, The Suit with Jackie Chan, where he's got the
yeah.
Well, think of that, but then he has to fight Batman's worst villains. So that's his name's Fritz Falcone, but he just bumbles into but he's a genius, and he bumbles in, and he just messes up. Like one guy I'm gonna have is gonna be box fan man, so he's basically has arms and legs, body's a box fan.
So at some point, they're going to put his mouth right in front of the box fan. He's going to be like, blah, 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 and making all that noise.
Yeah, so every time he talks, nobody can understand. Says he sounds like a Cylon.
Okay, so indieplanet.com/classified with a K -1
classified with a K. And K is important to the story because there's something. Yeah, there it is. You found it. Yep.
Okay.
And then if you go to
everybody, now this is where they can go to support you and buy physical copies, right?
Yeah. Physical comics, and then if you just want a digital download, because I know sometime right now they're having a paper shortage, it's slowing everything down really bad. Because I need to get issues back. If you go to Drive-Through Comics,
Drive-Through Comics.
Yeah, it's THRU Comics. Now this is the only place with Comicsology being such a mess. This is like the only place I can really put it up digitally to get it sold. Unless Jared, I'm waiting for Jared to help me out on that, because I want to have it on crypto. I want them all on crypto, so you can get them.
Well, we're getting there, buddy. We're getting there. Don't worry. Our boy, we got him locked under the stairs. He is working overtime. He's gonna make it happen. You know him. We know him. We love him. He's gonna make it happen.
See, twice before that, this is behind the scenes. Twice before is that I was locked into two other partnerships, so it's kind of tying my hands. In fact, when we met, it was tying my hands of what I can do with these books.
Yep.
Now I'm 100% free agent. I'm ready to go right now. So
I know, and we want to be ready to go right now, but we don't want to fumble. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to take the great Lawrence White and be like, look, we trip and like spill your genie magic over the edge of a cliff onto some like rocks and a swift moving current river that takes you downstream and we can't find you again. So don't worry, be patient. Everyone out there, thank you so much for your patience. We are almost there. This is going to be a summer to remember, so I've heard.
Oh, and then Fried. So if you go to Drive-Through Comics, it's hard to get to, but if you pop in White Eye Productions, it should bring up all 4 books. Yeah, so.
Wow. Okay, let me get a link for that inside of the chat here.
Yeah. Boom. And everybody, if you're just joining, you're joining at the end of the show, so why are you so late? But if you give us a like, we appreciate it. If you subscribe, that's super cool. But please share. Please share it out and help spread the word for Lawrence White, White Eye Productions. He's a fantastic indie creator, been around the industry for a long time, is doing fantastic things, and is a mover and a shaker. The things that we're putting into chat right now are places where you can actually go and support him, whether it be digital download or physical copies through Kablam that you can get printed on demand. And then he currently is planning to release with Crypto Comics when we go live. So we're super excited about that. So keep in the loop because that is looking so fantastically close. I can taste it.
I've been having this problem with Drive-Through because it always, when you pop it in, it just comes up with Armored Champion. But if you put in Saya, and if you put in Time Agents, and if you put in I won't say the third, but Classified, they will come up.
Okay. So you've got to specify the titles, everybody.
So yeah, if you pop it in Drive-Through, you can't get the digital. Now, also, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do the prints. If you want signed ones of any of those 4 books, for $20, I'll get them printed, get them to me, get them signed, and get them out to you. I'm going to do it at $20 each. So, but I'm only going to do those limited to 100. So.
You've seen shipping lately, right, Lawrence?
What's that?
Just making sure. I said you've seen shipping costs lately, right?
Right.
I think you might take a loss on doing those at $20.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get it too, but I got a few I'm holding in stock, so it's not going to cost me too much until I have to go get more made.
You take a loss at $20 right now? Oh, jeez.
Shipping a Gemini mailer is
boys.
crazy.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, This is too much fun. It's been too much fun nerding out with Lawrence White, but I got to call this because I'm already in trouble with my boss. She already done told me to keep everything to an hour, but I can't when I have super cool people like Lawrence on. So I tried. I'm sorry. I'll do better next time. I'm telling my boss that right now. But Lawrence, Wide Eye Productions, thank you so much for joining the Crypto Comics podcast. Thanks for hanging out with me, Matt, and Fry. We just want to say, dude, thanks for being an awesome indie creator who works multiple jobs to bring great creatives to the marketplace, man, to the industry, and really shows up and says, hey, man, here it is. You work hard and you do great work. You work with a lot of people, and you're just grinding it out, and we really do appreciate people like you, man. So thank you so much.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys giving me a chance to explain my craziness. So, and you know, you guys are always family to me too. So let's keep this crypto thing going too. You know, my team is your team. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I'm probably
Sounds like
gonna have
Jared's
to
the one
borrow
that needs
Matt's
that futon.
Yeah.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
The lady
Oh,
just
Lord.
walked in the room and said, "Give me the sign number 2."
We understand that.
4, 3, 2, 1.